everybody, it felt like, knew Dick Groat, knew of his exploits on various sporting fields and courts, and nobody knew him better than our guest right now, Bill Hillgrove, who's on the Nemacolin fan hotline. And Bill, our condolences. I know that you lost a very close friend here. Um, what comes to mind first when I mention the name Dick Groat?
Greatest athlete that Western Pennsylvania has ever produced, probably the state of Pennsylvania. As many great athletes as we have been fortunate to, send out there. He's the only one who played two sports at the highest level. And on that basis, he was unique. But more than that, I lost not only a friend and a pal and an associate and a partner, I lost my big brother. And that's what's so tough about it.
Dick, he loved Pitt, didn't he? He loved Pitt basketball, and we played some of the clips of him yelling at the officials a little bit from the sideline. He wasn't afraid to do that, and also the clip when he got ran over in the Asheville game. But, man, he bounced back, didn't he?
He did, and as he lay there, I looked down, I said, "Are you okay?" He says, "I've taken harder charges." And that was 220 pounds, the basketball player in his lap.
That's great.
You guys hung around a lot. I remember on the road at the Big East tournament, you must have come to know each other so well, Bill, over the years. What can you tell us about Dick Groat, the person?
Well, he called me roomie because we were roommates, and, just to be that was certainly an honor, but beyond that, Dick was a sports legend. But as large as that legend was and still is, he was a greater human being. And to me, that was the most rewarding. And like a couple of thoughts about the Big East tournament, we had gone there with very little success our first few years. And then finally, we did get to the championship game in Ben Howland's first year. But we were out of gas playing that many games in so many days. And the big thing about that I remember was that we only had packed 3 dress shirts. Well, now we're going to play a 4th game, and so he had to go to Macy's to get us a couple of dress shirts so we could be presentable at Madison Square Garden. That memory plus the memory of winning the first Big East championship, and that was very, very special. We beat Connecticut, beat them handily, went to the hat check area in the Garden to get our coats, and we're walking out to get to the escalator. And there's Jim Calhoun doing an interview with one of the Connecticut stations. And he stopped the interview and said, "Dick, Bill, congratulations." And, that showed me a side of Jim Calhoun that very few people ever got to see.
Bill, I was at the game. I know you were too when they honored him before the Pitt-Duke game. I think it was the first time they played in the ACC. Coach K and Jamie giving him a ball. People don't realize that his number 10 still hangs in Cameron Indoor Stadium, doesn't it?
It was the first banner up there. And Dick, based on that alone, should be in the Naismith Hall of Fame. He's not. I don't know why. But also you could make the case he should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Just look at his stats, and they speak for themselves. The thing about Dick was he loved basketball. He had to work at baseball. And if anybody would say that you had to work at baseball, he said, well, you have to admit I worked at it pretty well. I mean, come on, MVP, 285 batting average career, 2 World Series rings. And that was another thing about going to New York. The Yankee fans have a love-hate relationship with Dick Groat. They respect him, but they also remember with bitterness that as a member of the Pirates and then later the Cardinals, he beat the Yankees twice in 7 games. Those memories kind of pour forth.
In his later years, Bill, I was reading and I had talked to him a couple of times over the years. I know he loved golf. Of course, he has the golf course out in Ligonier. But he said he lost his equilibrium, wasn't able to play, and yet he was still sharp as a tack. And I think everybody saw Steve Blass presenting him with the entrance into the Pirates Hall of Fame. What did that mean to him, and when was the last time you got to speak to him?
I took him to lunch probably about a month ago, and that I think I might have spoken to him on the phone once since then. But he was sharp, and he could recall not only who was at bat, but what the count was when the ball went over the wall in 1960. He never lost that part of it. But you're right, he did lose his equilibrium. He loved the game of golf. He loved to play it naturally, and he was a two-handicapper at Edgewood Country Club, and he always played from the blue tees. Just a remarkable man.
Bill, I'm always amazed at the timing of things. I'm so glad that Steve was able to tell, Dick about that Pirates Hall of Fame. I think of Franco just a few days before his number was retired. I'm assuming that had to mean the world to Dick to find that news out.
It did. He was bitter when the Pirates traded him away, and for a while, he held a grudge against the Pirates. He wouldn't put up any pictures of him in a Pirate uniform at the golf course, and his wife Barbara, bless her heart, on her deathbed, she made him promise that he'd bury the hatchet with the Pirates. He did that, and then, fortunately, we're not in control of the timing. Only the guy upstairs knows what the plan is. But he buried the hatchet with Joe Brown, probably a couple of weeks before Joe passed away. He just was so proud of the fact that he was a big leaguer. And, he wanted to play basketball, but Mr. Rickey said, "Hey, Dick, your legs won't take the pounding of both the NBA and Major League Baseball." He said, "Well, what about the pitcher, Gene Conley?" He said, "Yeah, he only plays every fourth or fifth day. You're out there every day, and your legs will never take it." And reluctantly, and through the advice of his dad, he chose baseball. And it was a big local thing, too. Here's a Swissvale kid signing with the Pirates and never playing a minute of minor league baseball. That in itself, I mean, think about it. He's in the World Series, the College World Series in Omaha on a Friday. Sunday, he sits in the Pirate box and signs with the Bucks, and then Tuesday he pinch hits at the Polo Grounds. That's a remarkable accomplishment.
Bill, we appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much. I know you lost a dear, dear friend, and but man, you have memories that'll last for the rest of your lifetime and beyond, won't they?
Yes, they are rich and blessed am I, and for having not only known Richard, but becoming probably one of his best friends.
Thank you again, Bill, for taking the time today.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Thank you.
That couldn't have been easy for Hillgrove.
Mm-mm.
Reminiscent of, but honoring him too.
Right.
It's 92 years old. What a long life, storied life he led.
And you could tell what it meant to him when Steve Blass was presenting him with that the other day with the news that he was in the Pirates Hall of Fame.
He did not like Joe Brown. That was the general manager.
Yeah.
He did not like Joe Brown. All those guys back then, they had no say, right? There was no free agency. It was basically you take what I give you or go home, right?
Exactly.
It was a little different time than it is today.
We're going to continue talking about the NFL draft coming up here. Jeff Hathorn is going to join us. Apparently, is he over at Pitt right now, Falsey? Jeff Capel's going to talk about Dick Groat for a bit?
He was he's going to gather that up for us because Jeff Capel's about to make some comments about Dick Groat. Remember whenever was that Capel when he got hired at Pitt? Midway through his press conference, he saw Dick Groat
and he
sitting
interrupted
there.
That's right.
because he was at Duke. He knows about the legend at Duke.
And he said, "Hello, Mr. Groat."
Awesome.
Yep.